الرَّادِّ عَلَى اللَّهِ وَهُوَ بِحَدِّ الشِّرْكِ. And that is like infidelity or disbelief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To reject the Almighty God. To reject the whole message. These are the words of the Prophet of Islam. Why? Brothers, I want you to pay attention. I know, that there will be a lecture by another guest after me. But I want you to all pay attention to this one point. Why does the Imam emphasize so much so that he says that if you do not take the teachings from them, you have rejected us, you have rejected Islam, you have rejected everything? Why? If you do not take your Islam from the experts, the ones who have endowed, their whole life is spent in learning Islam and teaching Islam. If you do not take your Islam from them, who will you take your Islam from? From the White House?
Yes.
You will exactly take your Islam from, who would you take it from? Which experts will you take it from?
That's what they want us to do today anyway.
That the whole Islam will go down the drain because the whole Islam will be taken by people who are not even learned in Islam. Then Ayatollah Khomeini had said, today people who do not even know how to write Islam properly in Arabic, they tell you what Islam is, what true Islam is. This is what Islam is. They would tell you what Islam is. Islam-e-Nabi, the pure Islam. And then you get people who, give abandon to Islam because they have been implanted. I was invited to, the Clapham and Stockwell Interfaith Forum, and just after 9/11 in the past few years, and I said to them, how many percent of the Muslims do you think are Taliban or the Al-Qaeda and everyone? Yeah, we don't know. It seemed like everywhere. I said there are 1.5 billion Muslims. Even if there were 1%, do you know how many people would be Al-Qaeda and Taliban?
15 million.
Can you imagine? That would be 15 million. Do you think even 0.1% people are Taliban and Al-Qaeda? And when I told them that, it wasn't even a fraction of a percentage, they were all surprised. They said, how could that be? But the media makes them so big. That's the whole point. Do they want this Islam to go on the media? Never. Who would you always see, representing the Muslims on the media, on BBC especially, and on ITV and Channel 4? Someone like Umar al-Bakri.
He's my hero.
Umar al-Bakri?
Yeah.
The guy has been deported now. But they would always say, look at this Islam, look at, and he's how many Muslims followed him in this country? He's a Sunni Muslim, fine, I'm a Shia. Majority of the Sunnis do not even accept him. And Umar al-Bakri was referred to as a representative of the Muslim. Or, what's his name? Hamza, what's his name? Abu Hamza. A person with one eye, with a hook, looks like not the Dajjal, like the cartoons that the people had. That in the cartoons you would always, the pirate. I don't want to say it, I don't want to promote it. Someone who is a villain in the cartoons seen by all children, so you say this is a Muslim. That's the villain that you've been waiting for. This is the Muslim that they want to see. They wouldn't ever have someone decent and who has good views. People who do not have more than 500, 600 following in this country, they are representatives of Islam. That's what the media wants people to see. So if they attack Iraq, they say, okay, if these are the Muslims, attack them, kill them. If these are the Muslims in Palestine, kill them. No one is going to speak. And many times, the biggest problem is that, like the propaganda machine and the media itself is so strong and powerful, it can convince anyone easily. And you would believe it so much so, because you see, they don't have much interaction with the Muslims. So they would say, this is Islam. This is true Islam. And if you told them anything different, they said, no, but the BBC didn't say that. Tell lies so many times so that everyone starts accepting it. You know, they say that if you keep repeating the lie, it becomes the truth. That's what CNN and BBC do. Say it so many times, it becomes the truth. The biggest propaganda machine, you know, today, media and the whole digital media itself and the press media. If they want to demonize someone and you know, they would pick out the worst example and make that example to be a common practice. That's what common Islam. You would refer to many of the Muslim youth today who would see someone like Adil Asisani in Najaf, who has spent from the age of 19, he's been in Najaf, and he is 79 now. How many years has he been in Najaf, anyone? 60 years in Najaf. And before that, he stayed a few years in Qom, and before that, few years in Mashhad. So from the age of 13, probably 15, he has been in education. More than 60 years he spent in institutes. And you would have sometimes, well, the media doesn't portray him, so, you know, sometimes, you know, as an evil. But you will have sometimes even our own Shia who would see him as an enemy. The one who has given the most today for Islam, 60 years, 60-something years, most of us, we are not even willing to give 1 or 2 years for Islam to learn our basics. And a person who spends 60-something years learning, and the obligation that would, if he didn't fulfill it, we will all be sinful. Just like the burial of deceased. If some people don't do it, then we're all sinful. We can't leave a body, dead body lying outside. Yes? We said it's wajib kifaya, so some people have to do it. But we never thank them that, oh, these people have, you know, we never appreciate the few good people. I didn't want to go too much into it, but here, one example. One of my teachers, he made a black mark on a white paper. A big white paper, he made a black mark, and he said, what's this? Everyone, what's this? And we all said, black mark, black mark. He said, I'm surprised. There's a small black mark on it. It's a white sheet. It's a white paper. We're all, you know, what is the quality of a fly? You know flies? We don't have many in this country. Go to Pakistan, India, and they don't, you know, the people who haven't seen, they would. What is the quality of a fly? Because you don't see them in this country, I'll tell you, and try this. They always sit down on the worst point, you know, on the dirt, on anything which is unclean, a wound, something, you know. They wouldn't sit anywhere on clean. They would pick out the worst spot or something like that, on something which is bleeding or a wound, you know, that's where they come and sit. Everyone paying attention? Many people are like flies. They have the qualities of flies. What they do is, they pick out the worst point. They ignore all the good, they pick out the worst point. That's how many people have. Shouldn't we like animals? Those qualities that the animals possess? You know, when you say clean yourself, meaning take out the animalistic habits from yourself. Many good habits are found in animals. Pick those out. Many animals have many good qualities. And the Imams have counted. For example, a rooster has 5 good qualities. He always gets up at the time of prayer. You know? Always up at Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, always making the sound. Yes? He calls for prayer. At all prayers. He always is awake at the times of prayer. We should at least learn that little thing from him. As soon as it finds something to eat, you know, some seeds, it will make so much noise, call all the chicken and come and eat with me. I found something. Sacrificing. There are 5 good qualities mentioned in the hadith. I'm not going to go into it. Pick out good things from everyone. Don't pick out bad qualities and pick them and then adopt them.